Hello, I'm Andy Prothero from PCR Global. I'd imagine you're watching this video because you would have downloaded or were looking to download some of our free resources on COVID-19. So in support of that, I just want to briefly talk about three elements that are really coming to the forefront for health and safety practitioners currently in the workplaces when dealing with one of the biggest risks in terms of COVID-19. So we're going to talk about risk assessment, safe working practices, and how to ensure they are being implemented in the workplace. Because as we're seeing, this is the most important element of that, as it always is. So risk assessment. So we've seen a lot of robust risk assessments, documented risk assessments for those clients who've got 5 or more employees. Some are following the HSE standard in terms of 5 steps of risk assessment. They don't have a matrix. Remember, they don't need to have a matrix. Sometimes matrices are guilty of overcomplicating things. So you've identified the hazards, you've identified who could be harmed, you've evaluated your current control measures against the current government guidance, and then you've recorded that. So now we have a nice, neat risk assessment document. Number 2, safe working practices or safe systems of work. First came the risk assessment, then came the safe working practices. So the safe working practices are going to be output from the risk assessment. So on number 2, safe working practices, we're seeing a lot of safe working practices done really well. We're seeing robust written procedures. Again, the documents are done really well. People are following the Construction Leadership Council's guidance if you work on a construction site, the safe operating procedures. And yesterday, the UK government released their sector guidance for all sectors, which we did put into the PCR Global risk assessment, which you may or you will see. So the risk assessment has been documented well. The safe working practices have been documented well. Are they happening actually on the ground? And this is the element number 3, which is the most important element and the one I want to give, if possible, a little bit of guidance on, certainly as to how we do it. So what we're seeing is you go to site, this could be any type of site, could be construction site, could be engineering, could be facility, whatever clients we're going to. We're seeing, for first instance, the site managers or the line managers are robust in what they're getting us to do. They're talking us through their induction, they've got extra procedures in place, people are being segregated, people are wearing PPE, and all that seems to be working. So initially, when you walk onto site, this is working. Everything is working. However, leading on to point number 3, which is this actually implemented? What we're noticing is even though we have strong managers, strong line managers, when we do our observations, we're actually noticing that people aren't actually adhering to them. And this is not when the work brings them close together. This is outside of that. This is just when people are standing around in groups talking. They're not observing the guidance. So point number 3, how can we support that written risk assessment and those written safe working practices? The way we actually follow ISO 19011-2018, which is the guidelines for auditing management systems. What this gives us is 3 elements to follow. 1, 2, 3, 3 elements to follow. The first one is observations. So what we do when we go to site, and which is what I advise anybody to do, is do your observations. Look around the workplace. Are people following out what's written in the safe working practices, which should be an output from your risk assessment? Are people actually doing that? If you don't sit back and observe, then you won't notice it. Document review. Then what we're doing, we're looking at your documents. Go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. What is written down? Remembering that document could be viewed by the HSE, should there be ill health, should there be an accident. So observation, document review, and then discussions or interviews. So what we need to do is talking to the guys and the girls, everybody in the workplace. We need to be talking to those people. It's a very difficult time at the moment for everybody. Those who are working in the workplace, they're going to have family members who aren't working. They're going to have friends who aren't working. So it's those guys that are in the workplace, and it is an unnerving time. And from our experience, when we're talking to employees on the ground, they are concerned, very concerned. So it's so important at the moment that you focus on your staff as that manager or that site manager or that employer. Listen to your staff. A good, strong, robust health and safety management system will have factored in that formal and informal communication. This is informal communication. Talk to people on a daily basis about it. Make sure you're gauging how they're feeling. It is so important, and we're really getting some strong feedback from employees who are really concerned. So observation, document review, and an interview. If we do these three, we will then best ensure that items 1, the risk assessment, and 2, the safe working practices are actually in place. So as always, procedures. Procedures can often be a tablet of stone. They just sit there on the desk, as those experienced people will know. It is what is actually happening on the ground at that time. So follow plan, do, check, act. Follow don't, trust it, test it. Follow those 3 simple guidance. Observations, document review, and interview. I hope you found this very brief video of use to you, and stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.